But we have an interview today with
She's about to boot all of us off the screen, y'all.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not.
It's
But
fine.
if you guys want to stay, you can stay. But we do have an interview this morning with the Georgia Haitian.
Oh yeah.
Chamber of Commerce. I'm looking at it right now, and Suarel, he's a friend of mine, and he is somebody who I've worked with or worked alongside at other Haitian events here in Atlanta, it's beautiful to have this kind of association here, this kind of organization here to bring together Haitians, and they have a policy agenda that they've been working on, and I can't wait for him to come and have that conversation for everybody who's in Georgia to be enlightened on what they're doing for Haitians here. I know I talk about it all the time, and I know I've held a lot of leaders accountable, last year for not even knowing the Haitians in the community, but this organization definitely, is here to assist and actually has plans for the future here in Georgia when it comes to Haitians. So
nice.
I would love to bring him on.
That's what's up.
Is he in the cut?
Well,
there he is. Okay. Good morning, Suarel. How are you?
I am fantastic this morning. I'm so happy to be on the Ben Dixon Show and certainly delighted to be in the company of Rebecca Azor. Oh, come on.
My last name correctly, okay?
Not Azer.
wait! You are not going to have this man from the Chamber of Commerce coming on the show cracking on my accent now.
Listen.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Glad to have you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
So there's so much that we can touch on, especially when it comes to your organization. First and foremost, introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know who you work with and what you guys do.
Good morning, folks. My name is Suarel Quettan. I too am from Haiti, and I'm a proud representative of the Georgia Haitian-American Chamber of Commerce, and I'm currently serving as the chair of their board development committee. And I always introduce myself this way. I am the promise that Haiti is a developed nation in my lifetime. And I mean that. The Georgia Haitian-American Chamber of Commerce and myself, we stand to work for that and to live it today. Not like Haiti's going to become a developed nation when we die. No. It is a developed nation today, and it's a weird way of looking at it. And I want to share a little bit of what that tastes like with you and the audience today.
So when you say that it's a developed country today, because a lot of people like to look at it as an undeveloped country, a country, of course, that we've seen how they, describe it all over the media in many ways as the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. When they say Haiti, that's the first thing that is, that's described, that describes Haiti on every media platform, even when it comes to print. So what do you say about that? Because that doesn't align, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere and a developed country. What do you mean by that?
Well, we're here to debunk that notion, okay? Being a developed country, in my mind, has nothing to do with the circumstances. Big, tall buildings, big highways, lots of money. No, it starts right here. And the Georgia Haitian-American Chamber of Commerce seeks to create a developed nation in the minds of everyone regarding Haiti. And we're doing that in a very concerted way here in Atlanta. And I'd love to share that with you. And it's connected directly to the policy agenda you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So this policy agenda and the plans that the organization has, I know that me and you spoke before, and I was telling you how I think was very problematic that a few leaders, even in a place of Cobb County, a few leaders in these areas in Atlanta and the metro areas in Atlanta, don't really have the knowledge of the Haitian community, or in their policies have nothing that relates to immigrants. It's nothing that can actually assist them when it comes to educating them on, how to vote, or, how to get access to resources that can assist them to reading, or all kinds of things to get them aligned and assimilated here in the city of Atlanta. So, I know that we talked about that and it was frustrating for me, but hold this policy agenda that you guys have created, I think will also hold these leaders accountable. So can you talk a little bit about that policy agenda?
When people vote, it's somewhat offensive when people who are running for office, I don't care what ideology they follow or what race or creed they fall in, it's offensive to me when they're pandering to us with sound bites. So in the context of creating the policy agenda, we start with a developed nation in mind. And I say that when we hear people from Haiti exercise our leadership through our vote, then through our effort, Haiti becomes a developed nation. So we created this agenda. It's got 5 points. It's really simple. And the idea is this, that given our numbers, the Haitian community is really poised to exercise its power through active participation in the political process. And active participation for us looks a certain way. It doesn't look like we're listening to candidates and figuring out whether or not they're telling us what we want to hear. We go to the candidates, we go to our community, and we say ahead of time, here is what we want. And what we want is outlined in a very easy to read 5-point, one-page policy agenda focusing on the following broad areas. 1, economic development. 2, affordable housing. Then immigration, education, and last but not least, healthcare. I'll read just 1 point in the agenda, and we'll hang on to that one, okay? Immigration. We want candidates, elected officials, to provide immigrants, including farm workers and factory workers from Haiti and the Caribbean and other countries, black, brown, yellow, you name it, with a path to adjust their immigration status and protect them from exploitative working conditions. Now, when we go talk to a candidate, we don't tell them, hey, tell me what you stand for. No, we say our agenda and we interview them like we're interviewing them for a job. Are you someone who's going to have the guts and the spine to stand for that? And when you can demonstrate that you can stand for that, well, guess what then? We jump in. And we exercise our 3-point approach. We educate the community about you. We mobilize the community behind you. And we participate not just with our voice, but we participate with our talent, our time, and our dollars.
Yes. So what does that look like here locally, to push that? I know that you said we're going to, we, especially us going to challenge them like a job interview, them being the prospective leaders, in these areas of Metro Atlanta. But what does that look like for this group to go ahead and push that towards them? Because me and you talked about this. On paper, they'll have immigration, but it's way down at the bottom of the list. And it's like, okay, so how are immigrants supposed to be able to, join in on voting efforts, or because you can't just come to them when it's the day before you're voting, or when it's the day to say, okay, if I'm your leader, this is what I would do for you. And as soon as you get that seat, you forget about that whole community. You don't even know what the majority of the immigrants, where they're coming from in your particular city. So when you say we go up to them and hold them accountable, and you also said we go and mobilize and let immigrants know, because that to me, that's great, who you are as a person. Would that be also, if when you're asking the leaders questions and they tell you things that are not benefiting immigrants, are we going to also tell the immigrants, hey, this leader is not what you want. They're not looking for your, in your best interest, to help them understand that, because some of these leaders are very predatory in a way where, immigrants are taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So those points that you did just name are beautiful. But in that moment, are we going to, once we know what we know about a certain leader or a candidate, will we be responsible as Haitians to go and inform those immigrants about that, bad or good?
Yeah, absolutely. And the kind of accountability you're talking about begins way before the election. Mm-hmm. It starts by us educating ourselves to know who's running, so we can go after them. And it takes work. It takes us working to create rallies, town halls, face-to-face meetings, one-on-one interviews to actually communicate the agenda, not just to our community, but to the candidates. And then once they're elected, it takes us working behind the scenes, one-on-one with them, visiting the candidates in their offices, watching what policies they're enacting, what laws they're voting for, and holding them accountable. Now, we may vote for you today, but guess what? If your performance demonstrates that you're not standing for the agenda, we won't vote for you next. And now what does have power is the fact that we here in the Haitian community number more than 100,000, both documented and undocumented. You know what? Most elections nowadays are won by thousands of votes. We, the Haitian people, in partnership with our Caribbean brothers and sisters, are vowing to vote as a bloc. We're vowing to vote as a bloc according to this agenda. So yes, we are going to hold them accountable. Yes, we are going to speak truth to them. And yes, we're going to raise hell when they're not doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to hear, because, there are particular groups who, because the connection in the community or the celebrity of the leadership of the candidate, right? The leader, the candidate, the celebrity of the candidate, but they're afraid to step on their toes in the community. They don't want to, be blacklisted or whatever, in the community, because this leader, is a celebrity, so they, a lot of people don't want to hold those people accountable, but I like to hear that. And especially coming from a Haitian organization, like you said, women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie. So with the growing number of Black immigrants coming into, especially the city of Atlanta, and specifically with the growing number of Haitians coming here, I want to be clear too about this. When I say immigrants, I'm really just talking about Black immigrants. When I say Black immigrants, at this particular moment, I'm discussing Haitian immigrants, because even if you call in places that assist Haitian immigrants, as I have done for my cousin who was under the border in Texas, they'll tell you for some reason Haitian immigrants are treated the worst in immigration system, period. Black immigrants are treated at the bottom of the barrel, but the people who are treated the worst are Haitian immigrants for some reason. They're just treated terribly. So to have a policy agenda coming from a Haitian group, holding these leaders accountable, it really speaks to something. And we have to make sure we understand the difference too. When we say immigrants, particularly Black immigrants, all immigrants across the border, of course, we want to make sure we're fighting for them all. But we also want to make sure it's understood that Black immigrants get the worst treatment, have the least resources when they're coming here to America. So, yeah.
And I'm delighted that we're not just talking about it. We're putting our efforts, our muscle, our activities where our mouth is. And I also want to acknowledge, Rebecca, that this effort, what gives it teeth is that it's not just a local effort. In 2019, a group of 13 Haitian organizations across 12 states got together and worked on a broader federal policy agenda. And we in Georgia are leaning and standing on the shoulders of what's called the HAV. It's the Haitian-American Voters Coalition. led by a lady named Vanessa Joseph. So we want to acknowledge that organization for not only being the catalyst, but being the organization that's been sustaining this movement for years now. So kudos to them, and kudos to you for connecting this initiative with the Ben Dixon Show and giving it the voice that you're giving it now.
No problem, sir. I really, really appreciate you coming on. And I know that the organization is growing. You guys have added my friend Abs Petit onto your team.
Oh my God, no. Yes. Do not say Abs Petit. You know, petite in our language means small, but man, this lady's huge.
Yeah, she's huge.
So there is no petite in that Abs, okay?
I'm happy that you guys have her on your team. I know she's going to bring something really, really good, spice it up. I know she's going to be that for you guys. Like you said, her last name might be Petite, but she is a big, huge personality.
She's a huge human being. Yeah. And, and so is the rest of the team. I'm really proud that to say that I am the old fart on the team.
That's all right, because you're still looking good. You know what I'm saying? They say black don't crack, but Haitian, I don't know. But Haitian is something about being Haitian. It just keeps you nice and glowing, and you are. So you are.
If you had a rhyme in your back pocket for
Thank you so much for coming on.
Hang on. Hang on. Before you go, because I get the sense that this may be over or ending, and I love being here with you guys. Right? So this group of young people, led by the creativity of Abigail Petitfrère, are staging this thing in May around Haitian Flag Day called Zochella.
I love Zochella. That's so Abby.
Okay.
That is so Abby.
Okay.
Now, I'm just making a plug. I'm not going to tell you more about it. What you've got to do is get Abs on here with me and the rest of the team, and we're going to rock you with this dream come true. A festival in Atlanta commemorating Haitian culture, everything great about Haiti, and immersing people in Haitian culture in a way that no event ever does. That's what's coming in May, guys.
Okay, so absolutely. So listen, we're gonna make sure that we invite, like it or not, over, because I'm inviting myself, and I got friends over there anyway. So
I was about to invite myself
make sure that I invite the crew,
Ben.
And we get some footage, and we make sure we bring it here. But thank you so much. Let them know where they can find you, find more information about the organization. Let them know.
You can find the Georgia Haitian-American Chamber of Commerce by simply Googling that or going to gahcci.org, or you can call me directly.
Y'all,
man, I wouldn't be giving out my number on the internet
for no reason. Don't say that number.
Oh man, I've got a screening. I've got a screening program that works like a charm.
Okay. All right. That's it. Sir, it was definitely a pleasure meeting you.
And I promise to be accessible.
Yes, and I believe it. So thank you so much. We will definitely talk, because I want to hear more about the plans that you guys have. And anytime you need me, just give me a call. I let you know that before. Give me a call, whatever I can do to assist and help to further push this movement, because I believe in this policy agenda and holding these future leaders accountable. Love you, meet it, and we'll see you next time.
Pleasure.
I honor you guys. Ben,
thank you so much.
James, thank you. Rebecca, until next time, okay?
Until next time. Have a good morning.